How are we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be recapping UFC Vegas 109, Dolidze versus Hernandez. Wrapped up yesterday. Sorry it took a little bit to make this video. My sleep schedule's a little out of whack. All in all, this card was actually better than I thought it was. Like I said, I thought there was the ability for a lot of finishes on this card. I thought that we could definitely see some finishes up and down the card. We saw some really nasty ones. We saw some pitter-patter fights. I did decent on picks. I went 9-3, but when it comes to main events with Anthony Hernandez, I'm pretty shit. So I got the main event wrong. Speaking of which, let's get right into it. Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez. As you can see, I'm just the worst when it comes to predicting this dude's fucking fights. Roman gassed really hard. Very, very, way quicker than I thought he would. His ability to use his, jiu-jitsu to sweep and reverse and get up. Well, not reverse, but to, get up back to his feet was working very well. Very early on, like round 1, it worked really well. Round 2, it was working decently well. And then round 3 and 4, Roman kind of just stopped using leg locks to get back to his feet. He kind of just succeeded position, allowed Anthony Hernandez to do whatever he wanted in whatever position he wanted. And, Anthony was just doing whatever he wanted to him because, he's a cardio monster at the end of the day, and that was something that I always brought up in my picks and breakdown when it comes to Anthony Hernandez is the gas tank and cardio. One thing that I didn't, take into account was the speed difference. I know Roman is pretty slow, and Anthony Hernandez, even though his striking is very, very rudimentary, he doesn't really do anything exceptionally well. He's pretty basic when it comes to, actual, boxing, kickboxing technique. He was a lot faster than Roman Dolidze and actually had the most success on the feet. Roman didn't even really hurt Anthony at any point in this fight. It was way more one-sided than I thought it was gonna. It was in my idea, my thought going into this fight, if Anthony Hernandez was to win, I thought it would be somewhat competitive still. But near the end of the fight, it would start to get gritty. It started to get bad at the end of round 2. At the end of round 2, Anthony Hernandez thought that he finished Roman Dolidze because it looked like a finishing sequence, but the round ended in Herb Dean. To be fair, Herb Dean separated it in a very fight-ending kind of way. Like, he pushed Anthony Hernandez off, and he didn't wave his hands, but his hands were, at his side or some shit. I don't know. It did look funky. I knew that the round was over. But even when Anthony Hernandez started celebrating, I was like, damn, did they actually really stop that fight? Even though I knew that it was the round ending, I was like, damn, that sucks. Anthony Hernandez, if I'm going to be a person who says that Merab is not that boring, I cannot sit here and say Anthony Hernandez is boring. Even though I'm not a huge fan of his style, like Merab, I'm not a huge fan of Merab's style, it is pretty wild to watch Anthony in the top 10 of the middleweight division kind of just do whatever he wants to people. You know what I mean? That is pretty wild to watch. At the end of the day, that is cool to watch. Anthony Hernandez literally, the Michel Pereira fight, even though... And that's another thing about Anthony Hernandez. I feel like he can finish these fights way earlier than he does. Like Michel Pereira making it to round 5, that should have never happened. Or even Roman Dolidze making it to round 4 shouldn't have happened. But the finishing sequences, man. Anthony, by the way, Roman Dolidze was cheating a lot in this fight. He was cheating his ass off. He was literally he was grabbing the fence a shit ton. He was literally doing anything to cheat, which was pretty fucking crazy. But and even at the end of the day, Anthony Hernandez landed what looked like an illegal knee, but who really gives a shit at the end of the day? And then just doesn't even get hooks in, just gets a rear naked choke, but like, you know when like you're in class and you see like a bully like picking on somebody and they like put them in a rear naked choke and they just like pull back all the way and almost like rip them out of their seat? Have any of you guys like ever experienced seeing that? That's essentially what Anthony Hernandez did to Roman Dolidze. He just got behind him, got a rear naked choke position, no hooks in, and just walked backward, pulling Roman into him. And Roman, it's not even a locked up choke. He was definitely fucking, it was tight as shit if Anthony Hernandez actually pulled it in. But Roman was like, get me the fuck out of here, please. And Anthony just dropped him. Anthony gained a lot of stock in this fight. He did. At the end of the day, I don't like him. I'm not a huge fan of Anthony. I don't know why I'm not. He aura farmed a lot in this fight. Like, even round 2, he's fucking... To be fair, dude, he hurt Roman a lot in this fight. He has improved his striking a little bit. Maybe it's just because Roman Dolidze is that slow. By the way, how unbelievably shit is Marvin Vettori? May I just say that at the end of the day. But yeah, he dropped Roman Dolidze. They didn't credit him with a knockdown. They didn't even realize, like, even like the commentary, dude, he dropped Roman Dolidze in, I want to say, either the 3rd or 4th round with a 1-2. His coaches were like, 1-2, 1-2, and he threw the 1-2 really fast, and Roman walked right. They were calling for a 1-2 left high kick, and Anthony just threw the 1-2, and Roman walked face first into it and ate the fucking canvas. Landed some nasty elbows. Anthony Hernandez, that's the type of performance. He's going to move up. He's going to be probably at 9. They're probably just going to switch him and Roman. Dude, that's the type of performance that gets Anthony an Israel fight. Because Israel wants to fight Sean Strickland or fight Paulo Costa. Fuck you. No, you're not getting that, Izzy. Fuck out of here. Izzy, you can fight Anthony Hernandez. That's the type. That performance right there, the finishing sequence, overall, just him just aura farming Roman Dolidze throughout the entire fight, that gets you that type of fight. That's what that does. Anthony Hernandez, 8-fight win streak at middleweight. It's going to be, I don't know how an Israel fight goes, because Israel slows down. And in this fight, Anthony, he didn't look shit in the first round like he usually does. Like, that is something Anthony Hernandez does look in the first round, like, usually, is he looks fucking awful. He actually won the first round in this fight. And maybe it's because Roman Dolidze is slower than Michel Pereira, than Brendan Allen. But, yeah, I don't know. This was a terrible pick on my part. I'm sorry. I saw Roman Dolidze as an underdog in a fight where I was like, well, if Roman's able to get back to his feet, then on the feet, Anthony Hernandez isn't that great. It is what it is. It is what it is at the end of the day. Anthony Hernandez proves me wrong once again. The sly little bugger. The flabby fella. But, yeah. I think that Anthony, he gets an Israel Adesanya fight. I don't care. At the end of the day, that's what he deserves. We move to the co-main event. Steve Erceg versus Ode Osbourne. This fight, dude, I almost fucking started crying in this first round, bro. Ode Osbourne is so fast. It's one of the most wild attributes that a like not great fighter can have is speed. Ode Osbourne genuinely is one of the fastest flyweights in like the modern era, in my opinion. He is so egregiously fast on the feet. It is disgusting. Round 1, they didn't even credit him with a knockdown. I guess Steve didn't really hit the ground ever, but he was way too fast for Steve Erceg in the first round. Ended up clipping him with a check right hook. Steve ends up fucking glitching out and running into the fence. He goes for a takedown, survives to the end of the round, gets a takedown at the end. Round 2, I gave to Steve. I thought Steve landed some solid shots, and he was grappling decently well. Round 3 is for sure Steve Erceg's round. Round 2 is close. Do not get me wrong. Round 2 is close. I can understand giving it to Ode. Don't get me wrong. As much as a fan I am of Steve Erceg, round 2, they were glazing the shit out of Steve on commentary. They were like, ooh, that's a great left hand. That's a great right hand from Steven Erceg. Ode was landing at the same clip, basically. Whenever Steve landed, Ode landed as well, and had a bigger reaction, in my opinion. I think they gave this round simply to Erceg because he was shooting takedowns and had some control time against the fence. Very close round damage-wise, though. Very close round. Not a great look for Steve Erceg. Definitely not a great look. Ode, maybe you can attribute it to him not having to cut an extra 10 pounds on a short notice fight, which always will help the fighter, like, James Yontop against Mauricio Rufy. But yeah, Steve won. It was very close. Round 3 and round 1 were very clear rounds to score. Round 2 was somewhat close. I can understand giving it to either guy. I edged it slightly to Erceg based off of the control time and him landing decent shots. But Ode, look at these significant strike numbers, bro. They're basically the same. You can, the Weasel can make a video about it, honestly, but I don't know. Very close fight. We move. So Erceg, rebook the Perez fight if Perez's injury isn't that bad. Just do that, I guess. We move to the featured fight, Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. Clear win for Yasmin Lucindo. Round 1 I gave to Yasmin Lucindo. Round 2 I gave to Angela Hill. And round 3 I thought was very clearly, very egregiously Yasmin Lucindo. Round 1 was close. I thought Yasmin was landing the better shots, and she ended up getting a takedown at the end of the round. Round 2 I gave to Angela Hill because I thought she landed some really solid shots, and also she, was searching for it. She got a really tight guillotine at the beginning, standing guillotine that was pretty locked in for the most part. And I just thought that she landed some decent volume as well. This was a round that Yasmin kind of wasn't landing as much. But round 3 and round 1 I thought were Yasmin's round. Round 3, Angela Hill reverts back to Angela Hill, just not landing a lot, looking tired. Round 2, honestly, round 2 you could give to Yasmin Lucindo as well, because she was throwing bombs, to be fair to her, and she was throwing in combinations. And commentary, of course, is going to glaze Yasmin Lucindo because she's the super young, talented, in quotes, prospect for strawweight, and Angela Hill's old as shit. So, yeah, it is what it is. Good fight. Not a good fight, actually. I take that back. It was all right. It was some light. It was all right, Yasmin won. I picked her to win, so that's always good. We move to Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez. I love seeing Christian Rodriguez lose. I loved watching this. Round 1, Andre Fili very clearly wins this round. Striking numbers won't show it. Andre Fili landed way better shots than Christian Rodriguez. Round 2, again, I gave every round in this fight. Round 3 was close. I gave every round of this fight to Andre Fili. Round 2 and 3 are decently close. I thought Andre Fili just landed way better shots. I thought he landed the best shot in every round. Round 3, I think Christian might have actually landed the best shot, but then Andre Fili actually mixed in grappling and got some damage off there. Which, by the way, how the fuck is Andre Fili out-grappling Christian Rodriguez in the 3rd round of a fight? You know what I mean? What are we fucking doing? This guy, I fucking hate you, Christian Rodriguez, by the way. Fuck you. Look at you, you little gremlin. Look at you. Look, he's going to lose to Andre Fili, and then they're going to book him against fucking Malcolm Wellmaker. They're not even in the same division. Christian Rodriguez is going to move down to bantamweight, put him against Malcolm Wellmaker. He'll somehow find a way to win. Fuck this guy. Honestly. Fuck this dude. Actually, they're going to book him against fucking Ju Sang Yu next. That's a possibility. Ju Sang Yu, he's a featherweight, right? Jekka Saragi. Is Jekka Saragi? Yeah, Jekka Saragi's a featherweight. Oh, shit. What the fuck? Fuck out of here. Alright. Anyways. Yeah, fuck Christian Rodriguez. 3rd round was closer. The first round was very clearly Andre Fili. Round 2, somewhat closer. Andre Fili. Round 3, somewhat closer. It doesn't matter who you give it to. Watching this fight, I was like, the judging tonight has been pretty rough. they might try and rob this from Andre Fili. And one judge somehow gave 2 rounds to Christian Rodriguez, which kind of, I was like, if you fucking rob Andre Fili right now, I would have gotten my pick right, by the way, because I picked Rodriguez. I was like, you better not fucking rob Andre Fili, dude. Andre Fili, essentially, his jab was working like a charm. His check left hook, check right hook, because he kept switching stances, was working egregiously well. Christian Rodriguez, the problem with C-Rod, in hindsight, he just doesn't do good against taller opponents who actually know how to strike somewhat and can somewhat grapple. You look at all of his wins, like Cameron Simon, small, Raul Rosas Jr., he's like somewhat bigger, but he's young and probably not as strong. Isaac Dogarian's like a shorter, stockier kind of guy, and then Austin Bashi is about as pinnacle as it gets of a Christian Rodriguez victim. He's short and stubby. Look at his losses, his past losses at least, because I always forget who he lost to in his debut. I always forget who it was. It was Jonathan Pierce. Again, a fucking tall, rangy cunt. Tall and rangy. That was also short notice, but that's besides the point. But, yeah, it's just a bad matchup for him because he's small. He's not, and this is the thing, that he's not a featherweight. He's a bantamweight. But he's too fucking undisciplined to make fucking weight. So they forced him up here. They're like, you have to fight a featherweight. You've missed 3 times in a row. And he's like, well, you know, fine, I'll fight that featherweight. I'll win. His debut, he beat fucking Isaac Dogarian. I'm like, nope. I guess he's just him. I guess. He's just fucking him, I guess. Fuck you. We move to Miles Johnson versus John Matsumoto. I thought this was a win for John Matsumoto based on rounds 2 and 3. Round 1 was close. I gave it to Miles Johns because he got a takedown, and I thought he did land the best shots in the round. Round 2 and round 3, in my opinion, even though Miles Johns, I thought round 2 was probably the clearest round in the fight, even though the numbers make it seem like round 3 should be. Round 3, Miles Johns was actually landing some big bombs. And round 3, John Matsumoto started really hot. At the end of the round, Miles Johns started coming back a little bit. Round 2, I thought it was tit for tat throughout, but John Matsumoto was clearly landing the better shots in round 2. You know what I mean? So, yeah, essentially it was just technique versus spastic throwing, I guess, for Miles Johns. I don't know. And Miles Johns, the alien fight, was like, what? How did I not win that? I hate when motherfuckers do that, by the way. You didn't win, buddy. Look at your bald fucking head. Look at you. Look at you, look at this fucking guy. But yeah, John actually looked pretty solid. His stand-up looked very improved in this fight. He didn't even really need to use his wrestling. In fact, it was Miles using his wrestling against him. But even then, John Matsumoto was getting up very easily and reversing positions sometimes, as you can see here, and using guillotines to sweep or get back to his feet, give up his back, break the body lock, type of shit like that. John Matsumoto, young prospect, called out Rob Font. You're not getting Rob Font, buddy. That was your one chance. Bantamweight, give John Matsumoto, make him fight Peyton Talbot or something like that. Do another prospect matchup or something like that. Who's another bantamweight that you? John Matsumoto versus Davey Grant. That'd be pretty cool. You could also do that. We move to the start of the main card. Eric Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Christian Leroy Duncan, like I said, was going to be way too fast for Eric Anders. Kicked him in the nut. Eye poked him. Did literally everything you could do to cheat in this fight. It was all non-intentional, by the way. I'm just kidding around. But he was just way too good for Eric Anders. Way too big, way too athletic, way too fast on the feet. In this fight, it almost felt like a matter of time. Like it was a ticking time bomb for when Christian Leroy Duncan would land something big on Eric Anders. It ended up being a spinning elbow in this case. Which, I mean, he fucking landed flush, landed a good combination afterwards. Ended up finishing Eric Anders against the fence. Christian Leroy Duncan, again, showing prowess against an old-ass motherfucker who's not that great anymore. We love seeing it. Counting syllables with CLD. That type of performance, that's, what, is that 2 wins in a row now for Christian Leroy Duncan? Yeah, because the Pulayev one And now Eric Anders. Do him versus like, fuck. Who's like a middleweight that's somewhat close? You could do CLD versus like the winner of Mearshart, Oleksiejczuk, or CLD versus Muniz. You could do him versus Muniz next, or something like that. Or Christian Leroy Duncan, Bruno Ferreira. That's a badass matchup, dude. That'd be sick. I think Christian would beat the shit out of Bruno Ferreira, but that'd be interesting as fuck because, you know, Bruno's fucking just him. Very good performance from CLD, though. Showed levels in the striking, essentially. It's a matter of time. We move to the featured prelim. Julius Walker versus Rafael Sequeira. He only landed 30 strikes. That's kind of crazy. I thought he landed more. Pretty wild fight between these two. Essentially, a lot of it was just Julius knowing how to grapple and Rafael Sequeira not knowing how to. Round one, Rafael was landing good shots early to the point where I was like, I was like, oh shit, I probably should have picked Rafael because he's looking really good on the feet. And then Julius took him down, and I was like, I'm glad I didn't pick this fucking guy. Apparently, he trained with Jailton Almeida for this fight, and I'm like, there's no fucking way. Like, if he trained with Jailton Almeida, Jailton was literally bareback fucking the shit out of Rafael Sequeira in their training camp, dude. Because if Julius Walker's doing this shit to him, dude, he's getting, dude. That's a Brazzers video in that fucking training camp, buddy. I'll tell you that much. This dude fucking sucks on the ground. On the feet, he's still mid. Like, round two, essentially the same thing. On the feet, I'm pretty sure Julius actually got a takedown. This wasn't the round he got the knock. Round three is when he knocked him down. Round two, again, Julius goes for a takedown early, and Rafael just, like, lays on his back the entire round. Julius advances position, just starts beating him up. Round three, Julius is tired. In the beginning of round three, he's getting backed up. Rafael, where he's at his best, by the way, this is his peak form, is on the feet, walking him down, shuffling off the dude. I was like, there's no way this bum gets a finish in the third round, right? Shucking off takedowns, and I'm like, oh shit, Julius is so gassed. He's just tubby punch. He's like, ugh, and then his positioning was so bad. Rafael threw the wild overhand that landed on Julius Walker. Julius gets hurt by a big overhand in round three, and he's like, oh, he gets jelly-legged for a little bit. And Rafael's like, oh, he just runs at him, and Julius throws a check right hook, and Rafael folds on himself. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, this guy's so shit. And then Julius gets on top of him, rides him out for the rest of the round. Fucking pause, Jesus. Just rides out the rest of the round. You know, transitioning from half guard to side control to full guard to side to half guard. It's just a lot of transitioning on the ground. Rafael Sequeira, you are ass cheeks at fighting. We move. Good win, I guess, for Julia. I guess. We move to Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. Yeah, he landed nothing in this fight. Toshiomi Kazama on the feet was getting beat up a little bit. Elijah Smith was way too fast for him. Toshiomi actually gets a takedown on Elijah. Ends up in top mount. He top mounts him. But Elijah uses momentum with the takedown to transition to his back and then immediately like post up, and Toshiomi falls off to the side. And I was like, this guy's he's done. To be fair to him, it was just a lot of... Literally the entire fight was just Elijah fighting off submissions while beating the shit out of Toshiomi Kazama. He was landing insane ground and pound. Toshiomi goes for an arm bar, goes for a knee bar, goes for a leg lock, goes for like a heel hook. He's just trying anything he can to try and like sweep or, get a submission off his back. Elijah's camping in full guard, landing some good ground and pound. Toshiomi throws up a triangle. Dude, he doesn't even have like the rampage grip where he has like the one arm in, one arm out, and he's grabbing the arm that's in with the arm that's out and lifting up like that. Elijah literally has the arm that's in on the back of Toshiomi, and just lifts him up with, like Dominic said, his legs and lower back. Lifts him up over the cage, and then on his tippy toes, he doesn't slam him to where he lands on his back. He actually, like, jumps a little bit in the air and is pile driving. So he's like, you're going to land on the back of your head. Toshiomi lands on the back of his head. And then Elijah subsequently, whenever you slam somebody like that, you know, there's very rarely, like, you know, if you slam someone on the side of their head, like the Joe Solecki Jakar Close one, you're not going to get a head clash. This one, there was a head clash because it was a triangle and he's, like, you know, slamming him like that. Yeah, he was unconscious for like 4 minutes. They gave live health updates on him. He's good. He's doing fine now. He was at Five Guys earlier today. You know, Toshiomi, glad to see that he's all right, but it was one of the most brutal finishes, and he gave him two shots to the body. If you know Call of Duty terms, he shot his body a little bit after he was dead. Two insane hammer fists on top of that to add to brain damage on Toshiomi Kazama. So you love to see it. You love to see it at the end of the day. Who doesn't love seeing a bit of brain damage? Good win for Elijah Smith. Like I said, I don't know how far he goes, but that was a good performance over an absolute layup. We move to Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Basically, Priscilla walking into boxing range with Jocelyn Edwards. Jocelyn kind of backing up, getting tagged up a little bit early on, but then she was like, she doesn't really hit all that hard. Let me throw some shit back. And she threw, I think, the same combination, which was a right uppercut, left hook, right hook combination, I think 3 times in a row on Priscilla Cachoeira. And she was like, do it again. I'm going to walk at you and throw an uppercut. Do it again. I'm going to load up this uppercut. And then she did it another time. And then Priscilla was like, that kind of hurt. I'm going to do it again. And then she walked into it literally again and then gets flatline KO'd by Jocelyn Edwards. Brutal finish in WMMA. For WMMA terms, I mean, dude, she fucking flatlined the shit out of Priscilla Cachoeira, which is wild because Priscilla got a flatline KO in her last fight too. Jocelyn's good, man. She's like a decent WMMA fighter that's actually like improving from performance to performance. So she's ranked. She's like what, 14th? Doesn't even show it. She's 14th, I think, in bantamweight. Yeah, with a performance like that, dude, do her versus like Carol Hosa or some shit. Do some. I know Carol Hosa just had a performance over Nora Cornell and stuff like that, but. You know, Carol Hosa, do we really care about Carol Hosa fighting up in the rankings? Like, let's keep it a fucking buck. All right, give Jocelyn Edwards that treatment. We move to Uros Medic versus Gilbert Urbina. This fight almost turned into my nightmare, bro. Look at this shit. Look at this goofy fucking Tom and Jerry ass stat line. Literally in the first 5 seconds, Gilbert Urbina lands a straight right hand, drops Uros Medic. I'm sitting in my bed. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was like, I wanted to pick Gilbert Urbina so bad because I was like, I know those straight punches are going to be there for him. Uros gets up, though, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I spoke too soon. Uros can work his way back into this. And, like, immediately after that, Uros lands a punch, and I see it wobble Gilbert, and I'm like, it's only a matter of time. And then Gilbert walks face first into a right hook, and, like, almost Oliveira Topuria falls down. Not like where like he doesn't eat his knee or anything, but he just like falls down and lands on his back, and then Uros lands an insane right hand on the as a ground and pound. Great knockout, great win for Uros Medic. He's back, baby, he's back. But like I said, this was a fight. Like I said, I could see any guy winning because look at this bullshit. Gilbert Urbina now has an official knockdown. Over Uros Medic. And going forward, Uros Medic is going to be under surveillance in future fights because, you know, Gilbert Urbina is not great. You know. But like I said, he just kind of aimlessly walked forward at Uros, and I thought Uros was a bit of a slicker striker, and lo and behold, he was. And he ended up knocking out Gilbert Urbina, so good win for Uros Medic. We move to Gabriela Fernandez versus Julia Stoliarenko. Gabby did more in rounds 1 and 2. She lost round 3, in my opinion. I gave round 3 to Julia Stoliarenko. And Gabriela Fernandez somehow cuts it close with Julia Stoliarenko. Pretty bad fight. Not great. Julia kind of upped her striking. I'll give her that. Her striking did look a bit improved in this fight. But yeah. And I felt like Gabby could have finished it. Like, she hurt her to the body earlier, but didn't even really try and go to the body in rounds 2 and 3. She did like 3 body kicks in total in rounds 2 and 3 combined. She kind of became a headhunter going into like near the middle of round 2 and round 3. It kind of pissed me off. So, yeah. Good win, I guess, for Gabriela Fernandez. We move to the start of the entire card. That's not what I want. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is this? I want to talk about this fight because this is actually a close fight. They're not even going to give me the fucking numbers for it. Alright, I guess I'll keep it here, I guess. Nope. Matchup 12-70, 12-3, 1-1. Alright. Okay. Close fight. I honestly am not mad at Eric McConaughey getting the decision. Rounds 1 and 3, I think, were the rounds you could give him. Round 1 was weird. This fight in total was the bullshittiest fight I've ever seen in my life. Round 1, Eric drops Cody Brundage. I don't know if they credited him with a knockdown. It looked like a knockdown. After that, he does literally nothing in the round. He lands a knockdown in the first 30 seconds. After that, he doesn't land another strike in the round. Cody Brundage at the end of the round ends up gaining some momentum, hurts Eric McConaughey, it seems like, at the end of the round, lands some big bombs. I think that round, at the end of the day, still goes to Eric McConaughey because he had the most impactful strike in the matchup and was closest to finishing the fight. Round 2, very clear Cody Brundage round, because in this round, Eric McConaughey starts off with a clinch, does nothing with it. Cody Brundage it's like the reverse of round 1. Cody Brundage hurts Eric McConaughey at the beginning of the round and then gets him down, takes him down a couple times, but then does absolutely nothing afterwards. At the end of the round, Eric McConaughey starts to get some respect back, lands some good kicks to the guard, to the body. Cody Brundage does nothing in the last minute. Round 3, Cody does absolutely nothing in the first 3 minutes. At the end of the round, Eric does absolutely nothing while Cody does something. It's literally like, what do you favor more in this matchup? When this guy's doing something and the other guy's doing nothing, or when this guy's doing something and the other guy's doing nothing? It's like, which one do you favor more? Round 3 was close. I think that's the swing round, in my opinion. I thought round 1 and round 2 were very clearly to Eric and then Cody. Round 3 I thought was the swing. I thought you could have given it to Cody because I thought he landed some really good shots at the end of the round, but Eric McConaughey did some really good work early on, but then he did absolutely nothing at the end of the round and actually seemingly got hurt a couple times because I thought Cody did land the best shots in the round. I'm not mad at Eric McConaughey getting the win, though. Cody, you didn't separate yourself from one another. That's a fight that you cannot be mad at the decision. You know what I mean? Shit happens. How many split decisions were on this card? 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, judging was pretty bad. Some guy had this 30-27 Cody Brundage. That is legit the worst scorecard I think I've ever heard in my life. That is so bad. Another dude, like I said, 29-28 Christian Rodriguez. That's pretty shit. This dude that scored it to Miles Johns had it literally the opposite scorecard. He might have literally gotten the fighters mixed up. UFC Vegas 109 was pretty solid. Main event, Anthony Hernandez proving me wrong once again. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it, dude? What are you going to do? Yeah, solid card, some decent finishes. This week, I will not be posting a lot. I'm going on vacation. I will get my picks and breakdown for you. I have to record it on Tuesday, I believe. I will release it Wednesday. I'm going to try and see if I can get info on who wins the Matt Dixon versus Danilo, the last fight on The Ultimate Fighter. Because I want to say I leave Tuesday. I might actually leave Tuesday. I don't know. I'll have to, check in. But yeah, I'm going on vacation. So I won't be uploading a lot of videos. I'll get my picks and breakdown for you guys done on Wednesday. It will be released Wednesday per usual. Well, not per usual. It comes out Wednesday or Thursday, but yeah, this weekend, obviously, UFC 319, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, at least main event-wise. Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. I'll get those picks out for you guys as soon as possible. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What did you guys think of the card? What did you guys think about Anthony Hernandez's performance? I thought it was really solid. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.